health insurance? Sign up now for Obamacare. Catch the craze that's sweeping the net. We need young people like you to pay for the older, wealthier people. Act now, and we'll double your price for free if you can log on. Come on, Chad. Don't change the channel. This will be good for you. Become part of the system, Chad. One big happy system. Would the government lie to you, Chad? Would you buy it, please? Come on, Chad. Sign up. We gotta have you on the exchange. Do it for your country, Chad. Who you fooling, Chad? Your mom already likes me on Facebook.
Trick or treat. Thank you.
Okay, Chad, we know everything about you. We got your cell phone and your email. So we can do this the easy way or the hard way. You better get that, Chad.
All right, welcome to Operation End Times. I'm your Jedi warrior for Jesus, Bent Hellestead. Today I'm going to be doing Synchronicity of the Ages, Part 5, Don't Open That Door. I found that clip there, once again it kind of reflects the synchronicity of the ages, man, because that clip had everything you needed. Obamacare, the big distortion, the Obamacon, his fear of opening the door, him looking through the door with his eyes. The eye is the door to the mind. What was it? There was like one other thing in that commercial that kind of jumped out at me, but surely it is reflective of the synchronicity that we are all experiencing as we go from one age to another age. All right, we got the two cities, and it's kind of like, where you live in, who's knocking at your door, or whose door are you knocking at? And I knock. You should be knocking, because that's a sign of faith and walking in power, man. What you don't want to be is like that dude in the commercial where every time the doorbell rings, you're afraid to open the door because there's some kind of hideous monster, Uncle Sam out there, the machine reaching out to ensnare you. We've been looking at the synchronous orbits of our solar system and how it affects time. Time is measured by our observation of our synchronous orbit with the sun, that it takes us 365 days to orbit the sun. That's one year equals one orbit around the sun. So likewise, there's a thing called the means motion, which is when two bodies are captured and dancing with each other, and they get synchronized into some kind of a ratio orbital pattern. And like with the Earth and the Moon, it's 1-to-1. So we only see one face of the Moon. We never see the other side because that's how it's synchronized with Earth. But the two cities is the synchronicity, the sin city, and of course the electricity. One is the darkness, the other is light. And it's like, what city are you living in? What door are you knocking or opening? And what power are you plugging into? Because power is not free in the synchronicity, and it's free in the electric city. But in that commercial, on Obamacare, that guy, when he got afraid because Obamacare was saying sign up and wouldn't leave him alone, he pulled the plug on the TV and the phone, trying to disconnect himself from the web and the machine. But, a lot of us may think we're living in the electric city, but we're going to take a closer look and try and, understand what city you're living in is based on how your life is synchronized and what you're tapping into for your power source. So a mean motion is like the earth and the moon locked into the one-to-one synchronization. But if you're in the sin city, the synchronized city, the mean motion is the ends justifies the means. And that's kind of a shadow path, because people will do anything when they think like that. And that's kind of how you start determining what city you're in and what you're plugged into. Because if you're walking around thinking that the ends justify the means, well, then you don't probably believe in God, because that's not how it works, The will of God, that is what manifests, not the end, but the beginning, the manifestation of all things. The end, that's a shadow path. That's why when people say it's the end of the world, they don't even know what the hell they're talking about. But anyway, we got the two cities. The electricity is where you've plugged in to the light. Your eye is open. Jesus said, if your eye be filled with the light, your whole body's filled with the light. So he's talking about tapping into an energy source. And he also said, if your eye is filled with darkness, your whole body would be filled with darkness. So if you're living in the electricity, you've prepared your mind. It's a fertile field for truth and love. And you're living what we would call a pious lifestyle. Pious means God-fearing, in fear of God, a holy lifestyle, a saintly lifestyle. Whereas in the sin city, the synchronized city of time, where you're looking down at your watch all the time and you're probably denying the existence of God, you're looking to get your piece of the pie rather than living a pious lifestyle. Now, in the electricity, it's peace. There's no fear. Whereas in the synchronized city, as you saw with Obamacare, there's a lot of fear, a lot of darkness. And that's one of the things, the piece of the pie is, in the synchronized city, they try and have this view that everything is balanced, light and dark. And that's where you get into this like yin and yang symbolism of light and dark balancing each other. But that's a deception. The only way you're going to think that that's real is if one of your eyes is covered, which is actually what the yin and yang actually symbolizes, is one eye being darkened, because you no longer see the fullness of truth. You're thinking that, hey, there has to be darkness and evil to balance out goodness, and you couldn't be farther from the truth. And the other thing is you could end up being just blinded by the light, because your mind isn't right. You're not prepared. So when you open the door, open your eyes, you're literally blinded. And if you're prepared, if you've humbled yourself, if you've gotten your mind tilled, you could open the doors, and then when the light, the energy, the power comes in, you'll be ready to receive it. And, once again, if you look in Revelations, it talks about at the changing of times, when this synchronous singularity, convergence of an event happens. Jesus, when he's talking about heaven, he says, you're not going to need the sun because God, the Father, is the sun. So you have become locked into a synchronous orbit with God, a relationship, one-to-one, which is stabilization, and you're looking at the light and the glory. And that's why, there's this two faces of God, the dark side of the moon. We're going to try and crack open what exactly is going on there. But Jesus, he says, knock, and the door shall be opened. And if I knock, open the door. So when it comes to Jesus, there's no hidden secrecy. You know, it's more out in the open that you can talk to God face to face. So, another way to kind of look at it is the two faces. You know, one face is obviously light, so the other face, the dark side of the moon, which is a lie because there is no actual dark side of the moon. There's just the dark side of your mind or an eye that's been covered up. But the two faces of God, two-faced, where you can look at one and can't look at the other. Well, the other side is a dark side. That's at least what they tell you, that it comes at night in the subconscious, in your sleep. You know, and even in the Bible, that's kind of how it works, is there's several people, when they fall asleep, the darkness comes. And then they're scared when they open the door and see something. But darkness is like the backside of the moon. The moon, we see the only one face of it, but the side we don't see is the backside, not the dark side, the backside. So in Exodus, when this Lord is passing over Moses, he puts him in a rock and covers him with his hand, and he passes over, and he says, "You can't look at my face or you'll die." It sure sounds like a planet, you know, like if you look at the sun, you'll go blinded by the light. But he says, "Oh, you can look at the backside, kind of like the sun setting, the shadow." But the darkness, the backside, is also correlated to the number 12 and to midnight, darkness. You know, but the truth is, there's no such thing as a dark side. There is just complete and utter darkness, because there is no light. Unless there's God, because God is light. Without God, there is no light. Not even from stars and suns, man. You know. So, who y'all plugged into is going to be very important. What kind of energy? You know, in the synchronicity, the Sin City, it's all about control. You know, that synchronous orbit of 1-to-1 is control 1-to-1, but they also want 1-to-many, one person controlling many. The pyramid of power, the eye, you know, the con, the Obama-con, and the troll. You know, pay the toll or you can't get past the troll. That's that scary Uncle Sam thing that was waiting on the other side of the door. But that's all about synchronicity, is the con and the troll. Okay, one final thing. You know, the up in Sparks today, which is up in Reno, which is where my brother lives, the lake up there, 100,000 fish died of no oxygen, another synchronous event. You know, Ariel Sharon died on 1/11, which was a synchronous event. 1/11 was the inferior conjunction of the planet Venus. And, you know, I was doing some research about piousness, and it led me to the verse in Luke 2:25. "And behold, there was a man in Jerusalem whose name was Simon, son of Peter. The same man was just and pious, waiting for the consolation of Israel, and the Holy Ghost was upon him." And basically, he got to see Jesus before he died. That is in play, my friends. But it's Luke 2:25, which is the orbital length of Venus. It takes 225 days to go around the sun. And once again, you know, Ariel Sharon died on January 11th, which was a inferior conjunction of the planet Venus, and on January 31st is a direct station, and I don't even know what this means, but it's 13CP33, but you can clearly see 1333, the numbers are always adding up, because we're in this synchronicity of the ages. And I will tell you what, my friends, that crop circle, you know, the Chualar crop circle that was just down south of Hollister, you know, it had 192.5 times, which is 960, which is the progression of the orbital pattern of 8 and 13 between Venus and Earth. And surely Venus, the morning star, the star of prophecy, is in play as we approach this spring with the 4 blood red moons. There will be many more alignments and amazing things happening as things literally manifest in front of our eyes, man. All right, hey, this is Synchronicity of the Ages. I'm Ben Hellstead, your Jedi Warrior for Jesus. God bless you, and think positive.